Hey, Em.
Hey, Rick.
How's it going, babe?
I keep saying I'm gonna join a gym, but it is so hard to get over there after work. I want to come home after work. I don't want to go to the gym.
Do you smell that? Is that bullshit? I think you stepped in some bullshit.
Are you telling me I need to get my shit together?
Yeah, I'm telling you, your bullshit excuse is not working with me.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah. So, welcome back, all you sibling people. We're gonna call you out on some bullshit today. This is Sister Show Me How, a podcast, a place where we help you talk through all the real rough shit. I'm the realist Rick, host of Sister Show Me How, and your how-to sister.
And I'm Ernest M., your co-host of Sister Show Me How and your other how-to sister. Rick, you're right. It stinks around here. I am sick and tired of all the cop-outs and my own bullshit. I think it's time to get real and cut the crap.
Well, good. Then let's fucking do it.
All right, I'm ready.
So today we're going to be taking on all our bullshit. Why do we make the excuses? How do we recognize our own bullshit excuses? And then how do we begin to hold ourselves accountable? Let's talk about it.
All right. I know there are definitions. Let's hear them.
Okay, so I actually have quite a bit today.
Okay.
Since we're talking about excuses, the direct solution for that is accountability. So I didn't want to focus completely on just excuses. I want to focus on how do we get away from those, because excuses don't need that much time in the limelight.
Right.
So again, Oxford Dictionary defines excuse as a verb, which is an attempt to lessen the blame attaching to a fault or offense, to seek to defend or to justify.
Okay.
It's also a noun, which is a reason or explanation put forward to defend or justify a fault or offense. A poor or inadequate example of, which is my favorite word to use, the word excuse, is you poor sorry excuse of a man. That is my favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite insult.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's no vulgarity in it, but
Yeah. You're a sorry excuse for a person.
Yeah, exactly. It hits you right in the heart.
Yeah. It's that same feeling of I'm not mad, I'm disappointed,
My stomach just dropped into my asshole just hearing that. I feel like I'm in trouble. So then there's one definition for accountability. It's a noun, the fact or condition of being accountable or responsibility. And I think that is very telling that there are multiple definitions for an excuse and only one for accountability. Because as in life, there are about a dozen ways to make a shitty excuse and only one way to be accountable. True. Oxford Dictionary's got it figured out, man.
Clearly.
Okay, so why do we use our excuses? Pure and simple, they exist to make us feel better. We do this all the time in our own brains. We use logic to justify our actions and habits, and we use them as excuses, again, to justify or rationalize when we're doing something we know we shouldn't be doing. It's an easy way to feel better about the shitty decisions that you're making, and it's easy to do when they're often based in truth. So the most common excuses are, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I'm scared, I'm tired, whatever it is.
Which I think are all valid and real. It's just that you can find solutions to all of those.
And that's the point, is that an excuse is just a barrier from actually allowing us to get what we really want. All they're doing is actually fucking us over and preventing us from achieving what we desire quicker.
Right.
So how do we recognize our own bullshit? Because a lot of the times they are based in truth, and we can justify and logic these reasons for anyone, including ourselves. The answer is perspective. You have to ask yourself, one, what do I want? Anything. And then two, how bad am I willing to work for it? If I want to lose 20 pounds, but I don't want to go to the gym to do the work, then I don't really want to lose those 20 pounds that bad. If I don't want to eat healthier, I don't want to move my body more, then I don't really want to lose that weight that bad. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to go on vacation, but I don't want to sacrifice any of my time or money to be able to save to do that vacation, then guess what? I don't really want that vacation that bad. When you really want something, all of your excuses for not getting that thing become frail little ants in the way of a boulder. You know what I mean? Like, irrelevant completely. And a great way that I found to correct this behavior is called a yes and tactic. And the point of that is, okay, so say your excuses is hard. Yes and. We know it's going to be hard. How are we going to combat that? I don't have time. Yes and. I'm going to make time. You know what I mean? I'm scared. Yes, and. So then, how do we become more accountable and responsible beings after we've recognized our bullshit? I think the most radical way would be to utilize your excuses as a warning signal to yourself. To let that excuse show you, guide you to what it is you actually need. So if your excuse is I'm too tired, what do you need to do? Prioritize rest. If your excuse is I don't have enough time, well, you need to work on time management. If your excuse is I'm too old, I don't have enough energy, what healthy practices can we introduce into our lifetime that will help us have more energy, that will help us feel more in youth in our body? Because I'm telling you, you're only as old as you feel. And I understand that biologically things start to break down once we reach a certain age. However, there is still a way to take care of yourself, to make sure that you feel the best that you can in the stage that you can.
I also think this is like maybe a positive side of excuses. I think that sometimes it can lead you to maybe being a little bit more authentic. If you're, trying to work towards something and you're constantly making excuses, if you follow that backwards, those excuses backwards, and keep asking why, I think every once in a while you might come across the fact that it's like you don't actually want to do that thing. It's something that you're like doing for people pleasing, or like is a societal expectation that you feel like you have to follow through on, or whatever else, but it's something that's like not really authentically you.
That's a good point too, and one that I hadn't thought of, but you're right, that is another totally valid reason that people give excuses for this shit, because deep down, and that's my main point on this whole episode, is if you really wanted to, you would.
Right.
Like, that's the motto for excuses. If you wanted to, you fucking would. And if you're making excuses for this, you don't really want to do it that fucking bad.
Or you do, but you're limiting yourself.
Yeah, and that's the next step to becoming a more accountable and responsible being, is to conquer your fear. You have to move through it. Your fear is there to hold you back. And we have talked about living a fear-based life already. We already know the consequences of doing that, not just on your mental and spiritual being, but on your physical body too. We can't do that anymore. We have to move through it. We are brave little lions. We all have giant ass hearts of gold, and we can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
You can do it.
We can do it. We don't need our fucking excuses. Get that bullshit out of here. Scoop the pen already. My God.
Yeah.
You're right. It's starting to stink in here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then let's hear your bullshit. What kind of shit are you moving through?
All right.
Clean out your stinky pen.
I think a big one for me is overspending. And I think I often excuse that with like oh, you can't take it with you when you die. Or like knowing that like everybody else, like all of my friends and like a huge chunk of people in America have a bunch of debt. So like, why does it matter if I have debt? Like, who cares?
Someone's already pissing in the pool. What's the matter if I piss in the pool?
Right. And this is something we talked about last week with like intentionality. I am, moving through this with being more intentional and like moving out of a lack mentality and into an abundance mentality. And so I think that, that can help me move through some of those excuses too. So
yeah, that's a good one.
Another one, I do this a lot with procrastination. I did this a lot in college, especially, as I was like, I work really well under pressure, and a lot of my last minute like assignments and stuff, I would get really good grades on. So I would just keep procrastinating because I knew that no matter what, I would be able to get it done in a way that like was still like really good. So who cares?
Yeah.
But obviously, like if you're procrastinating, a big chunk of procrastination is the stress and anxiety you feel of not having it done.
Yeah.
And like the times when I don't procrastinate, I see like this huge change in my emotions of like just the relief of it. It's already done and now I don't have to worry about it. Right. So why?
And also, yes, okay, I'll grant you, a lot of us do work well under pressure, right? And sure, some of us can bust out a kick-ass project under whatever, a 12-hour deadline or some shit,
Right.
But what if you could take all that talent and give it at least 24 hours, like double the time? Can you imagine how much more kick-ass that project would be if you would just not put it off until the last minute?
Or even like, let's say you put it off till the last minute, but no matter what, it's still just going to take you the 12 hours. Yeah. Like, just think about like how much better it also potentially can be, even if it's still that 12-hour time frame, just the fact that you don't feel so stressed doing it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like a working under pressure kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because adding stress can definitely like limit and block your creative juices. Mm-hmm. And so you could have probably come up with much better ideas had you been carefree and willy out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But because you procrastinated, you had to have your willy in and all your creative juices were blocked.
Yes. We're just going to continue on.
Gonna ignore the willy joke and moving forward.
I think also a good thing of like way to gauge your excuses and figure out like, are you really lying to yourself and other people, is like, if you tell somebody that your excuse and you feel embarrassed to tell them, so like for instance, saying that like, you're going to join the gym and then, finally like 2, 3, 4, however many months later, and somebody's like, oh yeah, did you join? Or you're like complaining about still not having joined. That's embarrassing. So like,
yeah.
If you feel embarrassed to say that you haven't done something, or like you're quitting something, or you changed your mind about something, there's a good possibility that that's an excuse. And so you need to check your bullshit and get through it.
Yeah, and that's another great way to like use your excuses as a signal, because then you can also use that as motivation. Like, I have to do this now because I already told people I was going to do it, and I'm going to be fucking embarrassed if I don't follow through. So I guess I'm going to follow through.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. And then I think also just like gentle parenting yourself can be a good way to then like move through it. Okay. So like kindly coax yourself out of the excuses, and then like coax yourself to like get through the bullshit. And just do the damn thing.
And just do the damn thing. For fuck's sake. Yeah.
All right, so tell me your bullshit.
So being embarrassed about my things is also a big deal for me, mostly because like during my manic phases, I tend to make these grandiose plans. And I know damn well I probably have no intention of following through with those. But because I've said it out loud, people will hold you accountable. If you say that shit out loud, people will come to you and they will ask you about shit, because people are nosy and they want to know things. And they will hold your ass accountable if you say that shit out loud. So that's part of the way that I am holding myself more accountable, is by talking about it out loud. And that's also the way that I'm working through the embarrassment of failure is by saying things out loud, because who cares if people know that I did this thing and then I fucked it up? I'm fine with that as long as I did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because fucking things up, just being like, yeah, I tried that and it didn't work for me, that's not an excuse. That's an experimentation and an observation.
Yeah.
And then just relaying that. So, so I have no problem with that, but that's, I definitely need to say more of my goals out loud so that
that makes
my
sense.
people will hold me accountable. My partner does it all the time. I will tell him something, and then, like, I told him I wanted to cut back on my soda, and so now he, like, monitors how much soda I drink, and it, like...
Not in a weird way.
No, not in a weird way, just in a way that, like, if I grab a soda, and he's like, isn't that, like, your third one today? And I'll be like, didn't you shut the fuck up just now? Like, you know, but it's nice because... like, it's not like he's stopping me from doing the thing, right? He still knows that I'm a grown-ass woman and I will do what I want.
Right, but it's nice to have that sort, like, a checks and balances kind of thing of, like, hey, we said we weren't going to do this, so, like, I'm just notifying you that you are still doing it, and it's your job to take it from here. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the apps on my phone. They're like, hey, your time is up. You could add more time if you wanted to, but you've already spent an hour and a half on this one app. Yeah, so that's how he feels. He's like, you're gonna have diarrhea. And I'm like, shut up. Oh my God. I'm off tomorrow. I can shit my brains out until noon. It's fine. I don't have a timer on my shit. So.
Exactly. I could sit there all fucking day if I wanted to. Leave me alone. I'll have my third fucking soda for the day.
That's so funny.
I have noticed, though, that I make the most excuses for my behavior when I'm depressed. Because when I'm depressed, my willpower is shit, which means my self-discipline is shit. Yeah. And I just really need to move through whatever is making me feel disempowered. Because that's what leads me into this, like, further into a depression. Obviously, I'm on a cyclical cycle. My brain chemistry is still kind of fucked up. I'm still moving through that. But when I'm in the depressive cycle, the lows of that cycle, I've just noticed that I can get myself further really quick. And it can spiral very quickly, too. And so I need to figure out how to still stay empowered even when I'm not motivated, and even when I have low willpower.
I think you're feeling like you're letting yourself down because you're holding yourself to the same standards that you would hold yourself to when you're not in a depressive episode. Yeah. And that's not fair to you.
No.
And then that, contributes to your spiral because you feel like you're letting yourself down. You are not having that internal trust. Yeah. And so I think you need to take smaller steps that are more easily accomplished in a depressive state.
Yeah, you're right. And I think this, again, goes back to last week, making smaller intentional goals to build the confidence.
Yeah.
I think there was this experiment that they showed us in my psych class when I was in high school. It's called the marshmallow experiment. And I think I just need to further implement that kind of rhetoric into my life. In case you don't know, the marshmallow experiment is, I actually found an article for this. I found an article from Psychology Today, I think. And it says the marshmallow experiment began in the 1960s by a psychologist, Walter Mischel. He offered 4-year-olds the choice of a marshmallow now or 2 if they could wait 15 minutes. He and other researchers then tracked the performance of these children as they became adults, and they found that children who resisted temptation, the quote-unquote high delayers, achieved greater academic success, better health, lower rates of marital separation and divorce. Michel also concluded that the ability to delay gratification constituted a protective buffer against the development of all kinds of vulnerabilities later in life.
Wow.
It was very impressive. In a second study, 1,000 children were tracked from birth to the age of 32. Researchers found that in childhood, self-control predicted physical health, substance dependence, personal finances, and criminal offenses. So basically all of our impulses, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
This was true even when other factors such as intelligence, social classes, and cultural backgrounds were equated. They even compared sibling pairs and found that in each sibling pair with the lower self-control had poorer outcomes despite the family sharing a background.
Wow.
Yeah. So this kind of shit changes your entire brain chemistry, changes your entire brain patterns, all of your neural connections. And I love marshmallows. So this is a great little mantra for me. 1 marshmallow now or 2 marshmallows later, Rick, for like anything. You know what I mean? Just like a great little thing. And I just need to further incorporate that. I used to be really good at it when I was in college, but...
I think that's a great, like, kind of little gentle parenting technique, too.
Oh, damn it.
Is like... You know, you can just nicely say, like, the sodas, like, do I need to have another soda now, or can I feel better tomorrow and just have one tomorrow?
Or can I have a soda now and not a soda later, but then I can have a beer later?
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a spiked lemonade, man.
Those are really
I love
good.
that shit. So good. Now that I've said it, I want one. I have to wait.
We just have margaritas here.
We'll have to wait. 1 marshmallow now or 2 marshmallows later. I know. Gentle parenting kind of sucks sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, it kind of does. It's really, really hard.
Yeah. I think fucking self-discipline. You know, I think that I think my bullet journal is going to help with that a lot. I'm hoping. Gentle parenting is probably going to help with that. But I think mainly the being intentional with my good, healthy lifestyle habits is what's going to be the cherry on top, because as soon as I can establish like a better foundation, I feel like then when I'm depressed, I won't sink so low. And that's really what I'm trying to prevent here. Yeah. Because that's where all my excuses come from. Me not fucking taking care of myself like a stupid bitch. Having a lot of stupid bitch moments so far. We're gonna get over that.
That's not gentle parenting.
Whatever. I think my biggest excuse actually has been, well, this is all I know. This is more not gentle parenting, because usually my response to that is, who the fuck cares? No more.
I think that's actually like a really good one, because like, no, not the who the fuck cares, but like that's a good example of an excuse, because like, this is like a really big pet peeve of mine, is if you call out somebody on like their behavior and they're like, this is just how I am. Yeah. So or change.
Yeah.
That's like a big fucking one. Change.
Yeah. Like you're grown now.
Yeah.
It does not matter.
You can choose to not be that way.
Yeah. It is, you are actively supposed to lift and shift throughout your entire life. And once you know that an action that you are doing is causing harm, it is your active responsibility to correct that bullshit. Regardless of how normalized it's been for you. Just because it's normal for you does not mean that it's healthy. So it also doesn't mean that it's not offensive. So we need to widen our perspectives and make sure that we are not being shitheels. Tracking around bullshit.
Gross.
Hey, maybe that's where shitheel comes from. You stepped in shit. I've been using that term for a long time, and I've never put that together. I feel like Trump right now when he was like, did you guys know that us spells US? Did you not see that?
No. I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah, he was like on some kind of rally, and he was like, I was reading and I saw it said us in big letters, and I thought, you know what? That says US, us, the United States, us. Do you guys ever put that together? I'll show you the clip.
Macron, nice guy. You know, look, he's for France. I'm for us. I'm for us. You know how you spell us, right? You spell us, U.S. I just picked that up. Has anyone ever thought of that? I just picked that up. A couple of days I'm reading and it said us. And I said, you know, if you think about it, us equals U.S. Isn't that? Now, if we say something genius, they'll never say it. You know, we get 25, 30, 40, 50, 80,000, 100,000 people to speeches. They've never said Trump's a great speaker. Never said. I've never heard it.
Weird.
I said
Wonder
to
why.
my people, do you think they'll ever acknowledge I must be doing okay? Except I'm a very handsome person, so I guess a lot of you want to say.
Does he think he's handsome?
Beauty pageant. No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's a shitheel.
Yeah, let's not be shitheels.
Yeah. So I think the best way to do that, for my experience moving forward, is probably to work on my willpower, because that seems to be what boosts me not using excuses or makes my excuses more prevalent. So I found an article, again by Psychology Today, that talks about how to boost your willpower. It's by Denise Cummings. Again, I'll link the article in the description so you can read it for yourself, but just to give a brief overview, she states that willpower is essentially a muscle. It both gets stronger with exercise and has the potential of being overworked, leaving them obviously weak until they have the chance to recover. They gave a few examples of tests conducted on individuals in which they were asked to flex their willpower and then to complete a difficult task. And what they found is that in most of these cases, people found it more difficult to slog through the difficult tasks when their willpower had been depleted. I thought it was very interesting, and that is what I have found has been the case for me, that when I resist something more frequently, then like later on in the day, it's harder for me to resist. Like if I go throughout the day and there's donuts and a whole bunch of sugary shit in the break room in the morning and I say, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, then later in the night, it's harder for me to resist the Coke because I already depleted all my willpower in the beginning of the day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And so that was essentially what they were observing in these case studies. So she went on to give us a couple of steps that will help you increase your willpower and self-discipline. And step one was to not keep yourself in a constant state of willpower depletion. Give yourself little rewards throughout the day so that you don't feel like you're having to resist every single impulse. Mm-hmm. Step two is use your imagination. The body does not know the difference between real and perceived experiences. So you can kind of manipulate your brain in this way to make you feel like you've satisfied an impulse without actually having to do the thing. Step three is think of something else. Distract yourself. That goes along with using your imagination. If you can get your thoughts to stop fixating on this one thing, the impulse and the crave for that thing will be lessened. Step four is build a healthy foundation habit to fall back on when you're stressed. This is something I really need to work on. And this is something that I think will really, really help because that turns into your autopilot mode. And if your autopilot mode is already healthier for you, things just get so much easier. Step five, one step at a time. Do not push yourself. Again, Em is right. Gentle parenting is almost always the way to go. I say only almost because sometimes I feel like people need a gentle kick in the ass, a little tough love, but typically gentle parenting is the way you go. You can't force the horse to drink, you can only bring it to the pasture. So too much all at once will 100% crumble your confidence, and that's not what we're here to do. We're here to build you up, not to toss you down. So we're not going to set you up to fail. So step 6. Don't put yourself in temptation's way. If you know you're weak, don't throw yourself under a 200-pound barbell knowing that you can only lift 40 pounds. Don't put on weights if you can only lift the rack. You know what I mean? Like, don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. If you know that that's a sore spot for you, love yourself enough to create space away from it. Don't push it.
It's just like a freshly sober alcoholic is not going to go to a bar and expect to stay sober.
Yeah, don't hang out at bars if you're trying to be sober. Yeah. Number 7, if you must torture yourself, have a plan. If you're a recovering alcoholic and you have to go to a bar, have a backup plan. If you are like me and you have a really big problem telling other people what to do and how to live their lives, then maybe don't set yourself up to have those conversations with other people. Maybe keep your mouth shut a couple times a day. Set up a plan.
Which is interesting considering we have a podcast.
No, see, that's how I compromise. I keep my mouth shut with other people and I rant on here.
That's fair enough. This is like your backup plan for, you torture yourself. So okay, I got you. I got you. You're right.
Number 8. 8. Be yourself, because it's too exhausting to be anyone else. And being yourself has a lot of its own impulses, and if we are constantly resisting the urge to be our most authentic self all day long, we're not going to be able to resist a soda or a donut or a drink.
Yes.
So my sisterly advice would be to boost your confidence enough to be able to let go of the bullshit and absolutely give up on your excuses. So chew that over for a bit, and when you're done being mad at us, come back next week and we can talk about what to do about it. Until then, we are so glad that you came to chit chat with us today. Feel free to, as always, take what you need and leave what you don't. And join us in the next chat when you feel like it. Or take a break from the talk and watch us do some actual work on our brand new DIY channel, only on YouTube.
Also, don't forget to check out our social media. We post bonus footage and helpful content from our previous episodes. And while you're there, why don't you guys tell us what's going on in your world? We want to help. After all, that's what a sister's for.
Bye, guys. I feel like we just played Ninja.
Trying to figure out where I'm sitting.
Adorable. Oh, my water bottle.
Oh, fuck.
Nope. Wrong introduction.
I know we both were like, who are we?
Who are we? Rick.
Oh, shit. I forgot it was me. My bad. I was like, why are you staring at me?
So yeah, what were we talking about beforehand?
That's a great question. How did we get to Trump?
Shit heel.
Shit heel, yeah.
Okay, so now we need to connect him being an idiot back to this.
Beautiful.